Why is it you think we don't have a holiday or a celebration time for Christ's ascension? Seems like a pretty critical part of Christ's journey, but we acknowledge his crucifixion at Passover, his resurrection at First Fruits, or you could call it Easter Sunday, and we think about what those things mean at that time. But to my knowledge, there's not any type of celebration where we celebrate his ascension. But that day is actually upon us. 40 days after his resurrection, he ascended, and that fell in the Hebrew calendar on the 26th of Iyar. That's the second month in the Hebrew calendar, the month for Issachar's tribe. And that day this year in 2022 is on Friday, May the 27th. Now, I've been thinking about what is the meaning and looking into what is the meaning in the word about Christ's ascension. What does it mean for us, and how can we really appreciate it and appropriate that in our lives? And Paul mentions it in Ephesians chapter 4. And I want to go there, but before I go there, I just wanted to mention in chapter 1, Paul prays that we would have a spirit of wisdom and revelation to even know and understand the hope of our calling. And he goes on in the end of chapter 1 to talk about how Christ was raised up to be the head over all things to the church, which is his body, the fullness of him who fills all in all. So there's something about Christ filling all. And it also talks about how he is above he's Lord of all. He's above all the other rulers and principalities. I'm paraphrasing here, but you get the point. There's something about him subduing everything, filling everything, that is connected with him being raised up and ascending and being seated at the right hand of God. And this, in Ephesians, the whole reason Paul's really pointing this out in Ephesians is because he's going to talk about God's glorious church. And by the time he gets to chapter 4, he's talking directly about Christ's ascension. He's talking about it in the form of that Christ ascended and then gave gifts to men. And he goes on to describe what those gifts are, and that therefore the building up of the body. So somehow the ascension is really connected to the building of God and the church of God, his glorious bride, and how she's going to be supplied and filled with everything she needs to join together and become all that she's meant to be. So Lord, I just pray you would give us a spirit of wisdom and revelation as we look into Ephesians 1 and 4 to discover what it is about your ascension that you're wanting to show us.